Bitch, get in the car. She bowed down with her face to the ground, face down, booty up again. All right, guys, I am bringing up, I'm getting the gears turning on the Bible story. Exploring faith here on Locals. This will be a Locals only thing for people who are interested. And it's not preachy. It's not evangelical. It's not preachy. It's not evangelical. So don't be afraid of that. I'm not trying to convert anybody. This is literally taking either Bible or sermon or something, looking at it maybe with a little different light and a little perspective. EDW Raptor says religion is the last refuge of a scoundrel. Believe me, I've got a shitload of problems with religion. I have no problems with faith in God, but I have shitloads of problems with religion. There's a story I was trying to tell, and this is 1 Samuel 25. I'm going to read it. So if you don't want to be Bibled, but it's not the way you think, I doubt you're going to hear anybody talk about this story like I do. I often call myself a fucking heretic. All right? Often. Jews and Christians venerate David. David's a man after God's own heart, right? Man after God's own heart. David is a fucking asshole. David is a shit man. He is garbage. Like, everybody's like, oh, David had his rough spots. No. David had his okay moments. He's a bad dude. And it's so funny that we like go through and we're like, and look, there's prior to the Jews getting a king from God, they had Judges, the book of Judges. And God's like, I told you. But then the Jews are like, no, they're not bad. Stop hitting me, David. Stop hitting me. He's really good when he's not drinking and killing his soon-to-be wives, his husbands, right? David's a shit dude all over the place. And we just glossed this. So here we go. I'm going to read this story to you. Now, when I read this story to you, this is important. Forget anything you know about the Bible. And when you hear the name David, think like Tony Soprano instead of David. Okay. So this is 1 Samuel 25. Say to him, long life to you, good health to you and your household, and good health to all that is yours. Okay. Are you fucking kidding me? Tony Soprano says, so I send these 10 young guys. You go up to them, they say, hey, long life to you, good health to you, all of your household, and good health to all that's yours, good health to everybody. Great health. Now I hear, he says, now I hear that it is sheep shearing time. When your shepherds were with us, we did not mistreat them. And the whole time they were at Carmel, nothing of theirs was missing. We protected them, right? We kept it good. Ask your own servants, and they'll tell you, therefore be favorable towards my young men. Since we come at a festive time, please give your servants and your son David whatever you can find for them. Oh, okay. So wait a minute. Nabal's shearing his sheep up in Carmel. David's like, you know what? I was protecting that place. We kept it safe. We kept it moving. We were good to you. Now, gonna need you to be good back. Okay? When I told this story, people did not fucking believe that this is the story. But listen to this this is what it says. This is words. Abigail lost no time. She took 200 loaves of bread, 2 skins of wine, 5 dressed sheep, 5 seahs of roasted grain, 100 cakes of raisins, California raisins, 100 cakes of pressed figs, giggity, and loaded them onto donkeys. Then she told her servants, go on ahead, I'll follow you. But she did not tell her husband Nabal. Okay, didn't tell him. As she came riding her donkey into a mountain ravine, there were David and his men descending toward her, and she met them. David had just said, it's been useless, all my watching over this fellow's property, which he didn't ask for, in the desert so that nothing of his was missing. He has paid me back evil for good. Oh, okay. May God deal with David, be it ever so severely, if by morning I leave alive one male of all who belong to him. So David and his 400 men are going to go kill this dude and everybody else. All the men. All the men. Just the men, though. Well, they're probably going to leave the women there. When Abigail saw David, she quickly got off her donkey and bowed down before David with her face to the ground. Face down, booty up. She face down, booty up. She fell at his feet and said, my Lord, let the blame be on me alone. Please let your servant speak to you. Hear what your servant has to say. May my Lord pay no attention to that wicked man Nabal. He is just like his name. His name is Fool, and folly goes with him. But as for me, your servant, I did not see the men my master sent. So she's face down, booty up, saying, I'm here to serve you. Look. Take all the money and supplies. Look, you're going to be king someday. It's going to be cool. Like, everything's going to go great. Your enemies just don't fucking kill us. David said to Abigail, praise be to the Lord God of Israel, bitch, who has sent you today to meet me. May you be blessed for your good judgment and for keeping me from bloodshed this day and from avenging myself with my own hands. Okay, cool. Not one male belonging to Nabal would have been left alive by daybreak. Then David accepted from her hand what she had brought him and said, go home in peace, girl. I've heard your words and granted your request. When Abigail went to Nabal, he was in the house holding a banquet like that of a king. He was in high spirits and very drunk, so she told him nothing until daybreak. Then in the morning, when Nabal was sober, his wife told him all these things, and his heart failed him, and he became like a stone. About 10 days later, the Lord struck Nabal, and he died. When David heard that Nabal was dead, he's dead. Nabal dies. God kills him. David heard that Nabal was dead. He said, praise be to the Lord, who has upheld my cause against Nabal for treating me with contempt. He has kept his servant from doing wrong and has brought Nabal's wrongdoing down on his own head. So God kills Nabal. God does. No poison, nothing. Definitely. Then David sent word to Abigail, asking her to become his wife. His servants went to Carmel and said to Abigail, David sent us to take you to become his wife. Bitch, get in the car. She bowed down with her face to the ground, face down, booty up again, and said, here is your maidservant ready to serve you and wash the feet of my master's servants. Abigail quickly got on a donkey and, attended by her 5 maids, went with David's messengers and became his wife. David had also married Ahinoam of Jezreel, and they both were his wives. But Saul had given his daughter Michal, David's wife, to Paltiel, son of Laish, who was from Galim. So now David's got 3 bitches, although Saul took one of them. Saul took one of those bitches. He's got 2 wives, one of whom he went up, ran a protection racket. The guy's like, I don't know who the fuck you are. Like, oh, fuck you, pay me. He doesn't pay him. His bitch does. He dies because we're just supposed to believe that, we're supposed to believe this story because David's going to be king. So he's going to be top pimp. So she's going to go with him. But my man sends his messengers. They're strapped. They're like, hey man, you're going to have to pay up. He's like, I don't know you. I don't fuck with you. I got my own shit there. I have my own protection people. I'm shearing sheep. I got motherfuckers in the islands and stuff with swords and shit. No, that was us. We did it. He's like, I've never even heard you. I've never met you. I want to give you a bunch of stuff. Dave's like, no, pay up, bitch. You got to give me money. Where's my money? Where's my money? Doesn't give him the money, dies, and then he takes his woman. And I'm sitting here going, pastor at the church read this story, and he's talking over and over about how great Abigail was because she recognized the potential in David. He was going to be the king of Israel. And I'm like, this is not a good story. This is not a good story at all. What the fuck is this? And there's nothing about like how shitty David is there. Like David's an asshole in this story. Absolutely fucking terrible. And you find that to be really common with David. And we forget that. And the reason I love this story is because it just jars right back into memory, like how much of a prick David is throughout the Bible. He's consistently a man after God's own heart. But maybe we're reading that part wrong. And this is the part that's interesting to me. And one of the themes I want to explore with my exploring faith or exploring Christianity or whatever series that I want to do coming up here on Locals, that this is again a little preview for it. It's exploring what that means, the man after God's own heart. Because we always assume that means David was a great man and that he had these mistakes and God forgave these little mistakes because he's great and he's the model that we use, and the Jews venerate him. He's venerated by Christians. But maybe being a man after God's own heart, the important part is not that David fucked up from time to time, but that David was all around a piece of shit. All around, David is garbage. He's not good. He's not great. He's not this vaunted figure. That the man after God's own heart is also the piece of shit. Sparkle Mom says, the story was written because David was flawed, but even flawed people can do great things. No, the flaw in David is that occasionally he was good. That's the flaw. The flaw in David does not have flaws in being a great person. David's flaw is that he occasionally stopped being shit. And it's amazing because that is what we should be taking away. We should be taking that away. Like, we should not be going, because Christians are so fucking guilty of this. I'm a good person who makes my mistakes. They lead with, I'm good, therefore my Christianity, I'm a good Christian, God loves me because of my good Christianity. No. Don't start with the premise that you're good and you make mistakes. You've already fucking failed because you're already going beyond what God requires of us. And that also allows people to judge because they're good and they make mistakes. David's good and he makes mistakes. That's why he gets to be king of Israel and judge people. He gets to be ruler and Lord of all because he's great. He made his mistakes, but he's great. He's a great man. No, he's garbage. His judgments are garbage. His choices are bad. David does a bunch of shit wrong. All the time. Not sometimes. But it doesn't matter because that, even there, God says, I'm going to give you a king because you demanded it, and your kings are all going to suck. They're always going to be bad. And they're like, give them to us. They'll be fine. Like, here you go. And then we just ignore that God told them they're going to be bad. We ignore that. And we're like, no, David was actually great. And it's like, God told you he was going to be bad. He just picked the worst bad guy. It's great. Stevie Nicks, the height of hypocrisy, reading the Bible after the way you speak and the life you live. Stop playing everyone as a fool. Jesus Christ. Literally said this. I wasn't evangelizing or telling anything other than my opinion of it. But Stevie Nicks, that is one of the funniest statements you can make if you're talking about Christianity and redemption and what it's about. So, but I wasn't even doing that. I was just reading a piece of literature and saying, let's read this as if it's not biblical and see how fucking insane this story is. Because if you don't think that that's like just a great plot of a fucking mobster movie or an episode of a mobster series, it really is. It really is. It's cool. And I think we should be, like I said, for me, it's encouraging because sometimes I feel a lot more like the David that's a piece of shit than the David that's venerated. Like David was made king and then had to flee because he was hunted down. He was named to be king, I should say. And Saul the entire time is trying to kill this motherfucker. He's running around. He's not living the high life. He's not living large. He's He's barely scraping by. He's making shit decisions. He's building up an army. He kills a bunch of people all the fucking time. I'm like, wow. That guy sucks. Maybe if that guy sucks enough to keep and keeps going though, I can suck as bad as I am and maybe be okay. It's cool.